Greetings and welcome to another episode of Super Speak Sundays. I'm your host, James the Orator. And as you know, we do nothing but bring ordinary people who have gone on to do extraordinary things. And we said that and we meant it, that we bring extraordinary people on. How's everybody doing? I hope that you're doing well. Hopefully you have been following our videos and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Again, we're trying to bring the fire to you and for you, so you can improve the quality of your life and others who are around you. And so hopefully you have benefited from some of the videos that we have that we put out. If I go back to our very first video, we talked to Keith, the RV guy, and he talked about the RVing business. I mean, if you have not had an opportunity to rent an RV or at least explore the possibility, hey, we're still going to ask you to go back and watch that episode because that's a hot episode. So hey, we have a great guest today. We are excited. We all have, and again, I'm so gracious to have this person because you know what? They are they're transparent. They don't mind telling their story. And again, as I mentioned before in previous episodes, we have to be willing to tell our story because we never know how other people will benefit from what we've gone through. Let me introduce you to our guest. Allow me to introduce Sauce Mackenzie. Sauce Mackenzie's journey has dealt an unforgiving hand from life in prison to life in the suburbs. Travel with me as I take you on a journey into the mind of a life hustler. Sauce Mackenzie was born and raised in the beautiful but yet stern city of Gary, Indiana. By the age of 21, he was facing life in prison and was eventually placed on Supermax. He is now a community leader, a family man, and chief executive officer of Concrete Genius Media. In addition, Sauce Mackenzie is a personality who tells a story of perseverance to never fold and to never give up. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to this stage, Mr. Sauce Mackenzie. Sauce.
What's happening, my brother? How are you?
Hey, man! Thank you for taking the time today to be with us here on Super Speak Sundays. It's been a pleasure to have you here. You've inspired so many people, and I couldn't help but get you on the show. And so we want to start off, as we always do with all of our guests, with a quote. And so I'm going to read the quote, and then we're going to ask you just to freestyle on what this means to you.
Let's do it.
So the quote says, "I was away from my family. I let so many people down. I let myself down, not on the football field, in a prison bed, in a prison bunk, writing letters home. That was not my life." And that's from Michael Vick. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it sums up prison exactly. Like whatever you did to get there is just a lonely place. The feeling of not being there to be a protector and a provider and spend the holidays with your family, whatever you did to get there, I'm pretty sure it wasn't worth it when you feeling that. And as he read that, I still felt some of that in me, my chest, because that feeling never goes away. You just compress it. So yeah, I mean, Mike Vick's one of my, I look up to him anyway. So I respect that, man. It's just a hard feeling. You're looking up at that bed, you're trying to talk to God. You're just praying everything gonna be all right. It ain't easy. So I respect the quote. It's heartfelt and it's accurate.
Yeah, I bet it's not easy at all. You have your own media company, and it's something you should be proud of because everybody doesn't travel through this journey of going to prison and coming out and then being successful. I mean, we know the recidivism rate is real, and people often do go back. And so you've been able to build a foundation. You've been able to become a family man and do so many great things in the community. Talk a little bit about what your mindset was when the transition happened from leaving that place.
Healing, self-preservation, healing with myself. I lost my mother in there, so I wasn't able to go to the funeral. So I knew that was going to be a shock. My mind state was just, I get a second chance. I got to make the most out of it, and that laser my focus, because as a strong Black man, and you know you have so much potential, when you make a mistake and you end up in prison, you feel mentally weak because you know you messed up. You know what I mean? I'm such a provider. I'm an emotional provider for my family ever since I was young. I'm a strength provider, financial, whatever. Like I always just been a kid that had it. So to allow me to just get thrown in with everybody else, it hurt a long time. So when I got out, I was determined to fix that and not never be no statistic and just leave a legacy. And that's what my focus was.
Yeah, and I think that's powerful. You know, as I listen to your, and for those of you who have not, you know, listened to Concrete Genius Media, and I would recommend you go there, because he has just, you know, he opens his whole life up about the story of you know, how he was raised and things of that nature. So don't miss that. Take us back to your childhood. When I listened to when I went to the site and I listened to episode number 1, which you said you had recorded probably, was it like 2 years before, a year or something before? You said you did it like a long time before. Why did it take so long for you to release that one?
Well, I recorded it Mother's Day of 2020, actually, in the same room I am now when I first had built this house, and it was just raw. If you go to the episode, it's just like you can still see the lining behind the walls. I hadn't even finished the studio yet, and it was it was therapeutic because I was going through a lot of stuff about my mom, and I was thinking like, should I get therapy? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm just like, you know what? I was having a lot of conversations with myself in the shower. Let me get it on record, right? So I did it, and I just started rolling. Like it was just like a healing process, like I was talking to God.
Right.
And then when I watched it, it was so hard to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I tried to show it to my wife, and she couldn't watch it. She couldn't, like, because she knew my mom before. She'd been knowing me since we was young, so she knew my mom. She had a good relationship with my mom, and she couldn't watch it. Like it was just too emotional. So I just sat on it. I was like, at the time I was coaching. You know, my son was trying to get to college. I had a lot of things going on. I was working at the time, so it was always that. When have I established myself in society's eyes when I can roll this out? Because as a Black man, you're conscious of that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I've had people try to get me to sell my story 10, 12 years ago, and I just never wanted to do it because, for one, my kids deserve that time to be able to grow, get 18. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be playing. I wanted to focus. And then two, I wanted to establish so much equity and credibility in the community where it really became redemption. You know what I mean? I wanted, and I know it's probably sound crazy, but I was psychologically, I wanted to get to a point where I walk in the room and the dude be like, damn, I want to get to that.
Yes.
Because they send you out of there with $25. So I want to get to the motivation. Damn, this dude got out, got married, a couple of houses. Now his son going to college. So now I want to talk to him because now I didn't put the medicine in the candy. I didn't have enough medicine in the candy earlier. So, and I was just conscious of, you know, we from Gary, man, we private people. You know what I mean? So I was conscious of letting the world into my business. So it took 2 years, even psychologically, brace to have conversations with dude ask me about my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, excuse me. Yeah, it was just, that was kind of the whole process. Just don't be a failure. Remain patient.
Yes.
Remember the spirit that got you there. And then fortunately I came home. My father, Richard Lau, rest in peace. He took care of me, man. I came home. He was trying to give me money and stuff. He gave me a Mitsubishi Galant. I was like, that's all I need, man. You know, I can't take nothing from you. Took that, worked a couple of jobs, you know what I mean, and just started putting $1 on top of another one and start getting involved in the community, you know what I mean, boys clubs, girls clubs. I won a volunteer award from Pike in 2006. I won a volunteer award from the mayor in 2008. And then by then it was just my son's time. I just kept climbing.
Right.
So yeah, it was just a matter of the same thing, the same guilt I felt for going in there. It's the same drive that I have now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yes, sir.
So it sounds like drive is a part of who you are. I mean, and it sounds like, you, whatever you do, you're gonna do it hard, and you're gonna max it out. And so I'm just so happy to see, man, that you're on the other side now, because you have done some extraordinary things. I can remember when we first moved to the area, we got together, and I met you, and I didn't know you from a hole in the wall, but we got the opportunity to coach and have these boys to to flourish. And to this day, we still know there are a number of kids who look up to you, kids who feel that you have made an impact in their lives. Talk about, when you think about your experience of going to the penitentiary and then getting out, what was your motivation to not just help your son, but to be able to help others who might be around his circle?
Just God giving me another chance. Like, I'd be just not honoring God if I ain't help somebody. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not about money, it's not about nothing. It's just about God and me being a servant to come out of something where a lot of people don't come out of, just to be alive. Like, it's just that confidence as a black man, just God using me as a vessel to try to keep young boys out of jail, or at least a destructive path. So even if they do make a mistake, they can be like, damn, that's what he's talking about. And they can fix it quick. You know what I mean? But even I tell them, sometimes your first mistake can kill you. Yes, and we don't have that luxury as black people in this world. So I just thank God, man, just wanting to get to heaven, my parents being so proud of me.
Yeah.
And always bringing them joy, you know what I mean? And just trying to right a wrong. Because I was a brilliant mind when I went to prison, and I knew I was too smart to be in there. So it was just like, I'm always chasing the highest intellectual peace and serenity I can get before I leave this earth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
Yes,
take us back to Gary, Indiana, as a young guy. Again, I got to keep referring back to your podcast, The Concrete Genius. You mentioned there that when you were raised, your mother showed you a lot of love. She told you that you were brilliant. She told you that you were beautiful, that you were going to be great. At what point did you start to veer off, or when did that not become important to you, to have you move in a different direction?
Oh, that's a great question. Man, probably about, I was always a little hyperactive, a little bad, fast, mouth was smart. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as far as bad,
well, not even just bad, but just starting to become independent and make your own. Yeah.
About seventh grade. Yeah, about seventh grade.
And that's pretty typical. That's pretty typical for what we see.
But a lot of the stories, like, I have a unique story. Like, so my mom was earning a bunch. A lot of people knew her. She was a independent businesswoman. She was the best seamstress in Gary for probably 60s and 70s. She made prom dresses from all over the world. She was a hustler. So she made me smart, because in Gary, when she met new customers, from the time I was 4 years old, if she gave them a number, I had to remember the number. And if I didn't remember the number, I was going to cost my mama money, so I never forgot a number. So that kind of got me smarter. And then I was also blessed that both my parents was recently out of divorce. So they had me. So my dad went far away. So I was still able to get that masculinity and get that toughness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just as the neighborhood changed, my friends changed, economically, mid-80s, started asking for stuff, and I knew it was a strain. So it kind of went from shoveling snow to get money, grass, paper routes, and then it goes from protecting yourself when you get the money, then walking with your friend, and your friend fight this dude, fight that dude, and then it just kind of spirals out of control. I think me being intelligent and also being forced, because by the time I was 12, 13, I was already feeling like the man of the house.
Okay, got you.
If somebody knocked on the door in the middle of the night, I'd go to the door with a weapon. That accelerates your spiral sometimes if you're not positively guided. So 15, I'm buying my first car. I got a job, hustling. So your things get accelerated. So when you're 17, 18, 19, you think, damn, I need more. It's like feeding a machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then it just spiraled out of control. And actually, like I said, even then I was doing positive things, but I just fucked up. And I also understand, like, the way I was living, shit probably saved my life.
Okay. So I mean, when these things were happening, I mean, were your family members, or were they saying anything to you like, "Hey, man, you got to get it together," or you need to, get away from such and such, or you know how back at home, it's like somebody always trying to monitor, like who you hanging around and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Yeah.
sometimes in some ways I might have been a dude you need to get away from. So I couldn't, but with my with my family, like it was more like my brother's in the Navy, rest in peace.
Yeah.
He was the first, my brother Carl Bunch, he was the first black man to be facility manager of the White House. And he used to always tell me, he went to the Navy in like 84. So when I started getting bad, he would, hey bro, you gotta slow down, you this and that. But even as I caused or I got in mischief or trouble or whatever you want to call it, we was the last generation of dudes who got in trouble, but the trouble never came to the neighborhood.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like even when I was getting in trouble, if somebody broke in a house on my street, I was gonna have that shit back in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So like we protected the neighborhood, like
right.
Your grandmother, we shoveled her snow. You know what I mean? Then nobody sell drugs on my street. Like
right.
I had a governing mentality at the time, and it kind of spiraled. So it wasn't a situation where it was obvious what I was doing, because what I was doing was probably much more advanced from a manly level than kids my age. So like, I got a Buick Electra. I'm helping my mom pay bills. I'm shoveling snow. I'm raking leaves, cutting grass. I get a team of dudes. We shoveling snow.
Yeah.
So I always had that mentality to where I always kept all that dumb shit away from my family.
Right.
Always respectful.
Right.
Always. Now they know if shit get fucked up, I was the one to call. But like, I just was always respectful. Always, mom, groceries. I don't care. You could be the wildest dude with me.
Right.
If my mom cooking, she like, boy, y'all sit down, eat some of this chicken and string beans. We gonna sit down, take our hats off, and wash our hands.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So we was the last majority generation where it was yes ma'am, no ma'am.
That's
and
right.
So I really didn't get a lot of talks. It was more like, if you didn't know I had an alternate life, and when you knew me, it'd be like, damn, not him.
Right.
So I carry myself like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Respectful, humble.
Right.
So, because the gangsters I was raised around with when I was a kid, they ran like boys and girls clubs and wore suits on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So them the men I grew up around. Like, just because you was involved in that illegal activity, you still had to be a pillar of the neighborhood. So that's what I grew up around. I didn't get a lot of redirection from my family, because a lot of them didn't know what I had going on.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that. When I first met you, I wouldn't imagine in a million years, your story. And I think that's why it's so important for you to tell your story, because I want to transition now that you've kind of built the foundation to kind of let people know, where you have come from. Now we got to talk about where you're going. And I think that's important as well. And so we talked a little bit about Concrete Genius Media before. And so you started this thing by, I'm just going to kind of recap what you said, because you wanted to kind of, tell a message or give a message to your mom, when she, had passed. And so let's talk a little bit about the platform of Concrete Genius, the podcast, because I think people, and again, that's why we do this. We want to be able to direct people to your website as well, because we want, because we want them to hear your story. We want them to hear all these good things. And so talk a little bit about, to the listeners, what this is really all about.
Well, Concrete Genius Media is just a further step in the vision of where I went from Concrete Genius podcast. So probably 2008, I have my nephew Walter Henderson. I told him, like, I was gonna start a clothing line called Concrete Genius because that's how I always felt I was, like a genius from the concrete. So once I made the podcast for my mom and I put it out, about a month later, I got an email from Apple said it had made like Apple's top 200 fastest rising podcast.
Oh, really?
So I was like, okay. You know, I come from a family of business. Like I tell you about my mom. My dad had a lot of businesses, some legal, some illegal. My dad's grandmother was the first Black woman to open her own business in Memphis. So it's just in my spirit to think, how can I maximize this for myself? Yeah, because so then I just started and I created Concrete Genius Media, which has always been a dream of mine, which is I give other people with stories. I can help you start your podcast. We do mentoring, we do networking, we do consultation. And then I also have a roster probably within the next 3 months of like some very influential people. I have a Grand Prix winner. He's going to be coming on the team, a few athletes and stuff like that. So I'm going to build up a roster. It's basically just like a record label for podcasts.
Yeah.
Except I'm not looking to fucking Suge Knight or Big Red nobody. Like it's just, I just want everybody to have a one-stop shop networking. It's like a lounge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get in there, we chop it up, and I have a great national footprint like Vegas, Atlanta, DC. So that's where a lot of my views come from. So with Concrete Genius Media, as I bring people on, I jump on theirs, they jump on mine. I help them build a base. I teach them the ins and outs, and the mistakes I learned, I show them so they don't make them. You know what I mean? So it's just you're stronger together. So it's just constantly building a roster of just heavy hitters and talent. And I plan on selling this bitch to Barstool in about 2 years.
Yeah, I know. We've had some conversations about Super Speak Sundays and James, James the Orator brand of coming on board. Like I said, we got to further explore that because I definitely know that you have an impact and you have made an impact out particularly I watch you a lot on Facebook too, and a lot of your posts and stuff keep us going. So anything else you want to share about Concrete? Because I want to keep taking us a little bit higher.
Yes, sir. I just think people should come to Concrete Genius Media because not only is my story inspirational, but I give you a story of survival when I first went to prison. And then I think people should know that after I got out of prison, I've started 4 basketball programs. I've started 2 nonprofits. My first basketball program, I fundraised $100,000 and I donated it to inner city in Indianapolis. And I sponsored like 6 teams. And I was totally in control of that budget. I could have been a heathen. But like I said, God watched everything, the bullshit and the good shit. So I put it all into the city. God bless him. That was Indiana Rise. Yeah, that was Indiana Rise.
Yeah.
Then I did NWA Hoops. Did that for a while. Wife got cancer. I stood by her.
Yeah.
Had to deal with trying to get my son to college as a point guard. A lot of politics. I didn't waver. It got frustrating, but I didn't waver.
Yeah.
I sent my son to prep school in Las Vegas, which was kind of rebellious like here. You know what I mean? So I sent him away and I got him straight. And I helped him get through a lot of psychological hurdles too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of hurdles about knowing your value and not letting people dictate your value. So a lot of people, probably 100 a week, email me about basketball advice. That's why I do consulting. So not only do I want people to think, hey man, it's just a dude got out of jail story, which is great.
Yeah.
But I'm not done. You know what I mean? Like, so every day I'm working. Like, I coach some kids to be pros. I coach Jay Navi. I had Tony Perkins at Iowa. I had my son. I had Max Smith. They went to Eastern Illinois, Western Michigan. I had a bunch of kids, D2, JUCO, a lot of them. So it ain't too many kids that don't know Coach John. So it ain't just about, I give you prison stories. I give you slick hustling shit from back in the days. I give you all them dynamic personalities. I give you the old ex-ladies man shit, but I also give you motivation. If you just got a child, you say, man, I'm a single mother. What can I do with my son?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's put him in soccer. You know a good program. Yeah, I know the director. I do that. Okay, well, now he's 6. I want to put him in a good youth program. All right, let's do this. You know the director. Yes, I do. So all my mistakes and frustrations, instead of letting them make me bitter,
Right.
excuse me, God teaches you everything. Nothing is a loss, it's a lesson. So
That's right.
now I take them lessons and I apply them to the new generation of people. You know, I see young Black fathers. I try to motivate them because I know what it's like as a Black man to psychologically think your worth is tied up into what you have.
Right.
You know, and getting out of prison, the first time I went to a club, I couldn't even go in. It was Claude Nanny. You remember Claude Nanny?
Pool
It
tables.
was Claude Nanny. It was August 15, 2002.
Remember the date,
And
huh?
I'm in there. Yeah. I went in. I was parked out there on a Friday, and I had got a bunch of clothes. Chicks bought me some clothes and shit. And I was sitting in there in the car, and I couldn't go in. And my homeboy was like, "Come on, man, go." I'm like, "Man, I'm not fresh enough. It's been too long." Just that consciousness of what I'm wearing, how I look.
Yeah.
So now I take that energy and those feelings, because I'm honest about every feeling I ever had, and I use it to help young men getting out that's frustrated.
Right.
Now the good thing with me is I didn't have any children when I when I went in. So I was blessed that my kids never had to touch their glass. That would have fucked me up. So once I had babies, that was another motivation to be like, leave a legacy that people can be proud of. And that's what I wake up and strive for.
Yeah. I think,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's huge, man. You know, you mentioned basketball, and again, I know basketball has been a big part of what you've done. You know, you've done the ultimate, and you've done probably what a lot of parents want to do, because we know that it's not an easy journey to get a kid from high school to a D1 program. And so your son has been blessed. And for those who don't know, and people probably know already, but we'll make the announcement anyway. But your son was blessed to get a Division I scholarship to Weber State in Utah. And so that's huge. That's huge. Matter of fact, we got the purple and gold colors right there too. Right? What a coincidence. You know what I mean?
Right.
Talk a little bit about because we had Coach Brandon Brantley from Purdue University on not too long ago. But talk about so we got the coach's perspective, but kind of give us, you know, the parent's perspective in terms of.
Well, as far as the parents' perspective, it's more about not falling off of your grind. Like, it's so many obstacles in this game that it's so many things that's gonna try to knock you off. You can't let them knock you off. You have to keep going. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just navigating through the politics, man. Indiana is just one big small ass town, and then Lake County. So if you're not in Lake County, you're dealing with a lot of politics, and you have to not let them anger you. You have to learn through maneuvering, because if you get angered by them and you can't think, you lose. So I just stay focused. And it's crazy you mentioned B. You know, that's a good friend of mine. You know, me and B went to Talisman together.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, we was all friends. So It's just about, my advice to parents would be this. Remember that it's an individual race.
That's it.
It's a team sport, but it's an individual race. And another thing I tell parents is, everybody in this game has a motive. The coaches, the guys running camps, the guys selling T-shirts, the guys running the tournaments, the guys training your kids, So you need to find out what everybody's motive is in the room and how does that align with, because you got a motive too.
Right.
So if your motive is at the bottom of the list, then you got to go.
That's it.
You know what I mean? I was trying to get my son to play a position that most 6'5" kids don't play in Central Indiana, and it was a point guard. And it wasn't just because I wanted him to be a point guard; it's what he was.
Right.
And I fought for him, and that didn't go well here at first. It took a long time to earn my respect. People didn't understand my brashness and my honesty. It's unfortunately, it takes time to get used to the discrepancies in gear. You can kind of be yourself more because you grow up more with people that understand you.
Right.
So I'm just John to people in Gary. Everybody knows where here is like, this was the first time as a black man I've ever calmly gave a statement that disagreed with somebody and they like, why are you being aggressive? Like I only used to read about that shit. Like I didn't, I didn't understand what big black man syndrome was until I moved here because it's just like, so I had to, okay, well,
yeah,
I gotta still be a man, but I gotta be a man enough to get through here. And that's just kind of what I found a way to do. And it's hard, man. It's hard. It's stressful. And my best advice would be to a parent is do your own research, man. Prepare your child. Like you got Google, you on Instagram, Facebook, you worry about celebrities and Michael B. Jordan, Lori Harvey. No, like look up drills for your son. Look up ways to get your son faster and stronger and better.
Yeah.
So that way the coach has less leeway to screw you over.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? We're gonna wrap up, but I want to give you a final word, and I want you to talk to. And again, this is because, man, I have worked, with many different populations, and I'm diverse,
Yes,
But I want you to speak. I know it. I want you to speak. I want you to speak directly to the men or women who may be watching this who are locked up right now. Maybe they are in the situation that you were in, and they just need to hear a positive word from someone who lived it, but was also able to overcome it. I give you the last word.
Thank you, man. I would say pray every day sincerely when you wake up and when you go to bed, and not just when you pray. Talk to your ancestors because you need that energy too. You can't just talk to God like I talk to my mom, my grandmama every night. Make it consistent and stack them prayers on top of each other. It's like push-ups. And then you build your favor with the Lord, with the spirits, with the energy. And then when you wake up, when you rise up, you pray. And then not only that, you figure out how can I better myself? The first thing you can do is better yourself. I don't care where you at, is by reading. Yeah. Read any motherfucking thing you can get your hands on. I don't care if it don't make no sense. Just read it. I would read shit about aerodynamic engineering just to learn words. But those words have helped me have conversations in Las Vegas that's gotten me sponsorships.
Yeah.
So I would say read whatever you can. Physically, keep your body a temple. And learn about what's going on out here. If you're blessed to have somebody on the outside, let them know what's going on. If not, watch the news religiously. Right. Watch CNN, watch things that allow you to know what's happening. Like, detach yourself enough where you can finish the time without going nuts. But stay in touch with the world where you just ain't you just ain't been in no time capsule. And just have a plan. Yeah. That's how I finish. Just have a plan. Like, find out who loves you, have a plan, and then remember this. It ain't going to be as spectacular as you think it is, man, because people got their own problems. Yeah. So you better come out here with a plan, going to work, transportation, where you going to live, how you going to move around. And one last thing. Any negative energy, immediately get it away from you. Yeah. Because you're the one that can't go back. You know what I mean? You're the one that they're waiting on to fail. Mm-hmm. So that's always been my motivation. I'm like, everybody's fucking waiting on me to fail, so I'm going to win. Yeah. And that's the motivation you got to have. You can't come out here riding to the liquor store with niggas that got guns in the car and heroin. You just can't do the same things. Yeah. You can't. Even if it's something you like, it's harmless, standing on the corner, I'd be like, you know what, I got to go. Yeah. Because I don't have the same leeway to search for loitering like these dudes. So find a plan, find out what you want to do. Once you get your life stable, figure out a way for you to make some money and stay out here. Oh, and get a good ass woman, bro. Like, yeah. I can't tell you nothing more, Now me, I prefer pretty chocolate girls with ponytails, you know what I mean? Get you a good woman. Get you a good woman that understands what it takes to nurture a black man, and you got a shot. Man. And you still only got a shot. Because I deal with a lot of, I have good days and bad days still. So it's never over, but it's because it's always the engine in me that's like, man, I gave away X amount of time that I'm never gonna get back. So that's why
Right.
I'm vegan. I'm a workout addict. I work out in the morning, run at night. Like I try to be in the best possible shape,
Yeah.
eat right. I try to study. I'm about to challenge myself to learn 2 languages. Like I'm always pushing myself because I know I shouldn't have been there.
Right.
So I would tell dudes just focus. Know you can't get it all back in one day, and appreciate being free more than what you don't or don't have, and then you'll make it.
Y'all heard it from my man Sauce Mackenzie. Hey man, we thank you for taking time today. This has been this has been definitely one of the good ones. It's been fruitful. It's been an opportunity, man, for people to hear your story, and I think that's important. Again, as I said before, if more of us would tell our stories, I mean, we can change the world. So again,
Yes,
everybody, Concrete Genius Media, go visit them. You
hey,
don't
can I
want to
say
miss.
something?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
say
Go
something
ahead.
one thing?
Go ahead.
I just want to tell you, man, I'm so proud of you, man. Like, you took a chance on me. We started a team, and I know we didn't talk about it. I'll save it until I interview you. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we started a team. You know, you took a chance on me. You was an educated brother from Gary. You always been humble. You always kept your Gary roots. That Dick's name is strong.
Right.
You know, y'all keep it strong. You know, you a Q. Y'all Q's keep it 100. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Like,
sir.
just, you just embracing me, not worrying about what I've been through, because you didn't even know, but just not worrying about it, just being my big homie. Rep, hey, you might need to calm down. You should ref my games. Like, hey, I know these dudes a little crazy, but you can't give them everything.
Yeah.
I remember that. Like, I got a
Yeah.
picture of me and JJ with the medals, and you sitting on the bench. You had just got through refing.
Yeah.
That's back at the Pike Y. So
Yeah.
just I just want to thank you and your wife, like just being a representation of what my big homeboys from Gary are.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt,
You know
man.
what I mean?
It's my
Yes,
pleasure.
sir.
Like I said, I can't express how proud I am of you, man, and the things that you're doing and the things that you're gonna do. I mean, the sky's the limit for you, man. We you got you got a big boy that's going out west, and I mean, we don't know how God is gonna bless that and movement, and we we're gonna claim some good stuff with that. So hey, with that, man, I got to get out of here. Again, y'all, hey, Sauce Mackenzie from Concrete Genius Media. Hey, I hope you've been blessed by listening to what this brother has shared today. Hey, man, we're going to talk soon. Thanks again
Yes, sir.
for coming, all right?
God bless Super Speak. I love you.
All right, talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Sauce Mackenzie from Concrete Genius Media. Let me get that right. Hey, I hope the conversation was as fruitful for you as it was for me. We want to bring a dynamic and a diverse group of guests on our show, because you know what? We're not just for one group of people. We're for everybody. We want to impact the world. We want to impact the world, and we do that one person at a time, one show at a time. Y'all better go to my YouTube page and hit that subscribe button at the bottom right over here. It's a red dot. Just hit it, and that way you can subscribe to our channel. Until next time, hey, I'm your host, James the Orator, for Super Speak Sundays. We look forward to seeing you soon. If you haven't heard today, let me say it. I love you. Talk to you soon.